Investigative Report, Text Level Classification in School Libraries, presented by Cassie Kimmerlin on December 1st, 2020, First List 702 with Dr. R.G. In this presentation, I'll discuss the debate surrounding text level classification in school libraries. I'll discuss several different library classification systems that are used in the United States. I will then focus specifically on text level libraries. I'll define and discuss what it means to text level literature. I'll present the challenges and negative effects it can place on libraries and patrons. I'll also present the successes and positive effects that a text level school library can have on patrons. I'll conclude by presenting my experiences and thoughts as an educator and future school librarian. According to the American Library Association, classification is the process of assigning a number to an item so as to be able to shelve the item with other items on the same subject. Sandstrom and Miller add that classification systems allow resources with similar topics to be located near each other so that library users can discover materials by browsing shelves or the online catalog. Library classification systems provide librarians and patrons with an organized, functional, and consistent method for storing, locating, and accessing materials. There are two major classification systems used in libraries in the United States: the Dewey Decimal Classification and the Library of Congress Classification. The Dewey Decimal Classification organizes content into 10 broad subject classes. It then divides content into 10 additional divisions. Dewey Decimal Classification is commonly used in school and public libraries. The Library of Congress Classification organizes content into 21 broad subject classes. It then divides further by topic. It's commonly used in academic libraries. A rather new and controversial way to classify books that has become popular in school libraries is to use text-leveled classification. This form of classification can have several different names, but are all aligned with the same goal: organize books based on the difficulty of the language used in the book. It can be referred to as text level, reading level, and/or Lexile level classification. This form of classification organizes books based on the difficulty rather than by genre or topic. The term text level was coined by Irene Fontes and Gay Sue Pinnell in regards to their text level gradient. The text level gradient states, readers must build a system of strategic actions for processing text A through Z+, and should be seen as a continuum of progress for readers. The F&P text level gradient is the most recognized and trusted tool for selecting books for small group reading instruction. The goal of text leveling books is so that a child can climb the ladder of text difficulty with success by providing them with appropriate text. This reading instruction curriculum has seeped its way into school libraries across the country. There is much debate and research about the effects this type of classification has on young children. I'll present information on both sides of the issue. I'll share personal experiences as a kindergarten teacher who had a text-level classroom library. There is a lot of information and opinion surrounding the challenges that text-level libraries have on young readers. Many of the arguments begin by referencing the intellectual freedom that all patrons have. Text-level libraries restrict a child's freedom to choose books that they are interested in reading. According to the American Library Association and the American Association of School Libraries position statement, a minor has the right to access resources freely and without restriction. Text-level libraries restrict a child's freedom to choose books that they are interested in reading. Text-level libraries can also lead to poor organization and patron frustration. Since the classification system is not well known and is not always consistent from one library to the next, patrons may have a hard time locating materials. Because books are not classified by genre or subject, a patron looking for a book about dinosaurs, for example, could potentially search through all of the shelves in the library. In addition to the difficulty of selecting specific books, since the classification system is not widely used, it will take students and teachers extra time to learn the new system that is likely organized differently than their local public library. Parrott writes, rather than having a conversation about interests, children in leveled school libraries are often directed to color-coded bins or shelves labeled by level. Librarians should establish relationships with students based on their reading interests rather than their reading levels. There are several negative effects that text-leveled libraries can have on patrons. One negative effect is that text leveling can be seen as labeling students and not books. Many students are aware of what their text level is, and this narrows the scope of opportunity and reduces exposure to books that might surprise or challenge students. Students can feel trapped and confined to one basket or shelf of books rather than being able to choose books that are of interest. Text level libraries can hinder a child's genuine love for reading and literature. Bang Jensen argues that when readers have their say in selecting books, they exercise agency in the development of their own reader identities and create a rich relationship with books. Finally, text-level libraries can indirectly showcase struggling readers to their peers. A lack of privacy when searching in a bin that is defined by your ability sends a message to those around. A child's reading ability should never take the precedent. Despite the challenges and negative impacts, there are also some successes of text-level libraries. When books are text-leveled, students are able to choose just right books. This is based on the Goldilocks principle that encourages children to find the happy middle ground where books aren't too easy and aren't too hard, they're just right. This approach is supported because kids learn the most when they understand more than about 95% of a text's words. Another win for text-level libraries is that it correlates well with a child's classroom library that is often text-leveled. Librarians are, in fact, teacher librarians and should be seen as literacy and reading teachers in the school. Many librarians find that this classification system supports school and classroom procedures and curriculum. Finally, text-level libraries provide consistency and ease of access for families. Many parents may struggle to select books for their children, but will take comfort in being able to help their child select books that are on their child's reading level. It will not be necessary to know what their interests are or have prior knowledge of a book's quality because the level will guide them in the right direction. There are some positive effects that text-leveled libraries can have. Text leveling can provide some children with motivation by watching their reading level, letter, color, or number rise. Parrott writes that it provides clear goals for improvement that can offer encouragement and structure for some children. Many children are extrinsically motivated and take pride in advancing to a new level. Text-leveled libraries can provide children with ease of access and will be able to browse books on their own after being shown where their leveled shelf is. They will consistently be able to locate books that are on their level when they visit the school library. As a kindergarten teacher, I've seen both sides of this debate play out in my classroom. Per district policy, I used the Fountas and Pinnell guided reading curriculum and text-leveled my students. I tried to keep their text levels discreet and private, but many of the students figured out the system and knew their levels. Like mentioned, this had both negative and positive effects on my students. Struggling readers became frustrated and wanted to choose from the other baskets like their peers were doing. On the other hand, passing a level and moving on to a new set of books was great motivation for some students. They were so excited and proud of themselves and the progress that they had made. My classroom library had books that were organized by theme and by level. When students went to the library center, they would have the freedom to choose any books that they wanted to read. The leveled library books would be used during independent and guided reading. I believe there is a place for text level classification in the classroom library because it is an important aid in teaching reading. However, I also believe that there should be options for students to select books that are of interest to them and are not labeled based on difficulty. With that being said, I do not believe that school libraries should use a text-level classification system. Students deserve and need the freedom to choose books that they want to read. A librarian's job is to foster a love of reading in their students, and in order to do that, students must be given the opportunity to choose their own books. Labeling books by text level can still be done if required, but should be done discreetly. However, students should not be confined to selecting books that are outside of their just right book area. I believe this debate will continue for many years, and I'm excited to learn more about the research and statistics surrounding text-leveled libraries. Fontes and Pinnell state, having a library is a treasure and having a librarian is a gift. Their collective knowledge about text can help every child love to read. It is my hope that one day I will work in a school library that puts students' well-being, excitement, and intellectual freedom over their reading abilities and text-level data.